The galaxy had witnessed countless wars, but nothing was stranger than the union between Queen Xylera of the Varn Dominion and a human named Captain Adrian Cole. The Varn were a proud alien race, tall, silver-skinned, and known for their unmatched technology, while humans were considered primitive wanderers of a small blue planet called Earth. When the Queen announced her marriage to a human officer who had once saved her life in a border conflict, her empire was stunned. Many believed she was blinded by curiosity or emotion, but Xylera believed Adrian was different, calm, brave, and full of quiet intelligence. Yet after their wedding, something about him felt strange. He never spoke much about his past, and every night he stood at the palace balcony, watching the distant stars with an expression that mixed hope and sadness. When she asked what he was searching for, he only said, "A signal from home." Weeks passed, and the Queen began to doubt her decision. Her council whispered that the human could not be trusted, but she silenced them. One night, however, she followed Adrian secretly and found him standing in the tower chamber, speaking to a small silver device glowing faintly blue. His voice was calm, but his words sent a chill down her spine. "This is Captain Cole," he said quietly. "The message is received. Phase 2 begins." The Queen gasped, but covered her mouth before he could hear her. She retreated silently, her heart pounding like war drums. Who was this man she had married? The next morning, before she could confront him, the sky above the palace darkened. Massive shapes appeared breaking through the clouds, hundreds of colossal human ships uncloaked from invisibility, surrounding the capital in complete silence. The Varn defense forces panicked, but before they could act, Adrian appeared beside the Queen and whispered, "Do not be afraid." His calmness terrified her more than the armada above. "You lied to me," she shouted. "You brought your army to conquer my world." He shook his head. "No, Xylera. I brought them to protect it." She stared at him in disbelief, her mind spinning. Protect it? From whom? The answer came moments later when the warning alarms blared across the city. An enemy fleet was approaching from the outer systems, a Varn rival who had planned to invade while the Queen was distracted. Adrian's fleet moved with impossible precision, intercepting the enemy before they could even reach orbit. Within minutes, the invaders were destroyed without a single human ship lost. The Varn stood speechless as the sky cleared. When the Queen turned to Adrian, her anger had turned to confusion. "You knew this would happen," she whispered. He nodded slowly. "Earth watches the galaxy, even when the galaxy ignores Earth. We knew your enemies were preparing to strike. I came here because humanity wanted peace, not power." She could hardly breathe. The human she had doubted had saved her entire empire. But beneath her gratitude was fear, a quiet realization that humans were far more advanced than anyone had imagined. They had hidden their strength for centuries, letting others believe they were weak. That night, as the city celebrated their survival, the Queen sat alone on the balcony where Adrian once stood. The stars above seemed brighter now, almost alive. She understood that humanity's true power wasn't in weapons, but in patience, unity, and the ability to rise when no one expected it. When Adrian joined her, she looked at him with a mix of awe and sorrow. "I wanted peace," she said softly, "and you brought it. But I cannot tell whether I am the ruler of this alliance or just a guest in your world." Adrian smiled faintly, his eyes reflecting the twin moons. "Peace changes everyone, my Queen, even those who thought they were in control." The wind carried his words into the night as the stars shimmered silently, and Xylera finally understood what she had married. Not a weak man, but a representative of a species that could shape the fate of empires without firing a single shot. For the first time in her reign, the Queen felt both safe and powerless, comforted and haunted by the same truth. Humans were never harmless. They were waiting, watching, and when the time came, they always acted. Queen Xylera couldn't sleep that night. The stars above her palace looked different now, too bright, too alive, as if they were watching her every move. The arrival of the human fleet had saved her empire, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was unfolding. Adrian slept peacefully beside her, his face calm, his heartbeat steady. But in her mind, questions screamed louder than war drums. Who had given him the authority to command an entire human fleet? How could Earth, once considered a small and insignificant planet, suddenly deploy such massive ships with impossible precision? The next morning, her council demanded answers. "Your Majesty," one of them said sharply, "this human husband of yours has brought an unknown armada into our orbit. We are not safe." The Queen tried to defend Adrian, but doubt had already begun to poison her thoughts. She decided to confront him openly. When she entered the strategy hall, she found Adrian standing before a holographic map showing hundreds of worlds, most she had never seen before. He didn't look surprised when she entered. "You've been avoiding me," he said calmly. "You've been hiding from me," she replied, her voice trembling with both anger and fear. "Tell me the truth, Adrian. Who are you really?" He turned toward her, his expression unreadable. "I am who I said I was, a captain of Earth's defense command. But Earth is not what the galaxy believes. We learned long ago that power draws enemies, so we stayed quiet, hidden, growing stronger while the rest of the galaxy fought wars and burned itself down." His words hit her like a storm. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Then why marry me? Why come here?" He paused for a long moment, then said, "Because you were the only one willing to listen. And because your empire was next." Xylera's heart stopped. "Next?" she whispered. Adrian pointed to the map. Red lights blinked across her borders, dozens of enemy movements she had never been told about. "You think the attack yesterday was random? It wasn't. The outer colonies planned a full invasion. They wanted your throne, your technology, your control. Earth intercepted the signal months ago." The Queen stared in silence as the realization sank in. "So all of this," she said slowly, "the marriage, the alliance, the fleet, it was all part of your plan?" Adrian looked away, guilt flickering across his face. "Not to rule you, Xylera, to save you. But yes, it was planned. Because if Earth hadn't stepped in, your empire would have fallen within a week." Her chest tightened. She wanted to be angry, but deep down she knew he was right. Still, a part of her broke that day, the part that believed she ruled her own destiny. "You humans," she said bitterly, "pretend to be weak, but you're the most dangerous of all." Adrian didn't deny it. He simply replied, "We never wanted power, only survival. But sometimes survival looks like domination." He walked past her quietly, leaving her in the hall filled with silent holograms of stars and red battle markers. Alone, Queen Xylera touched the glowing image of Earth and whispered, "Then maybe the galaxy was wrong about you. Or maybe it was right all along." Outside, the human ships remained motionless above her world, silent, disciplined, and impossibly patient, like predators that had no need to hunt anymore. The Queen finally understood that peace, under human protection, came with a price she hadn't expected, the slow realization that her people were no longer the masters of their fate. The second part of this story is uploaded on my channel. Watch it now to see what happens next.